Raúl Castro charged with murder in U.S. over 1996 plane shootdown. Raúl Castro, the former first secretary of the Communist Party of Cuba and a prominent figure in Cuban politics, has been indicted by U.S. authorities on charges of murder related to the downing of two civilian aircraft in 1996. The incident, which resulted in the deaths of 4 individuals, has resurfaced as a significant point of contention between the United States and Cuba. The charges were announced by the U.S. Department of Justice, which alleges that Castro, along with 5 other individuals, conspired to kill U.S. nationals and engaged in the destruction of aircraft. The indictment cites the actions that took place on February 24, 1996, when Cuban military jets shot down 2 planes operated by the Brothers to the Rescue, a Miami-based group of Cuban exiles that had been conducting humanitarian missions and dropping leaflets over Cuba. According to the indictment, the planes were unarmed and posed no threat to Cuba. The downing of the aircraft was described as a deliberate act of aggression, orchestrated by the Cuban government under Castro's leadership. The incident has been a long-standing source of tension in U.S.-Cuba relations, particularly among Cuban-American communities who view the attack as an act of state-sponsored terrorism. The timing of the charges is significant, as they come amid a broader context of renewed scrutiny on Cuba's human rights record and its treatment of political dissidents. The U.S. government has been increasingly vocal about its stance on Cuba, particularly following a series of protests on the island and the government's crackdown on dissent. The indictment is part of a wider initiative by the U.S. to hold accountable those it deems responsible for human rights violations and acts of violence against U.S. citizens. Legal experts have noted that the charges against Castro could set a precedent for future actions against other foreign leaders accused of similar crimes. Raúl Castro served as the Minister of the Armed Forces at the time of the shootdown and played a key role in the Cuban military's response to the Brothers to the Rescue's operations. The Cuban government has consistently defended the actions taken during the incident, arguing that the planes were violating Cuban airspace and posed a threat to national security. The families of the victims have long sought justice for their loved ones, and the indictment may provide them with a renewed sense of hope. The U.S. government has also expressed its commitment to supporting the families and ensuring that those responsible for the tragedy are held accountable. The announcement of the charges has been met with mixed reactions. Some Cuban-American leaders have welcomed the move as a necessary step towards justice, while others have criticized it as a politically motivated action that could further complicate U.S.-Cuba relations. As the legal proceedings unfold, the implications of this case could resonate beyond the immediate parties involved. The U.S. has historically maintained a complex relationship with Cuba, characterized by periods of thaw and tension. This latest development may signal a shift in how the U.S. approaches its dealings with the Cuban government, particularly regarding issues of accountability and human rights. Raúl Castro, who officially stepped down from power in 2018, has remained a significant figure in Cuban politics, and his legacy continues to evoke strong emotions both in Cuba and abroad. The charges against him come as Cuba grapples with economic challenges and ongoing political unrest, raising questions about the future of governance on the island. The indictment is expected to reignite discussions surrounding U.S. foreign policy towards Cuba, especially in light of the Biden administration's approach to the island nation. The administration has faced criticism for its handling of Cuba-related issues, and this legal action may further complicate its strategy. As of now, it remains unclear how Cuba will respond to the charges against Castro, but the situation is likely to draw international attention and scrutiny. The case could also influence the broader discourse on accountability for human rights abuses globally, as nations grapple with the legacies of past actions and the pursuit of justice.